My name is Scott, and I assume you can all call me a cruise ship visitor. What is a cruise ship, you may ask? Well, cruise ships are large passenger ships that offer vacation experiences for passengers by providing entertainment, food, and lodging. I bet you would already get the idea of a cruise ship, since pretty much most people will go to those ships on their vacations, especially one of my best friends. His name is Ryan. Ryan had an obsession of going to cruise ships on his summer vacations. According to him, his love and obsession for going to cruise ships can be best attributed to his mother. On most of his childhood vacations, she would pay for tickets for a cruise ship for her and him to go on and visit and stay at. On each vacation trip on a cruise ship, Ryan and his mother would spend time going on top of a deck of the ship, viewing the wonderful and beautiful sights of the skies and the ocean, swimming in the pools, and relaxing in spas, and even eating at the great food that they have at restaurants. I too can relate to Ryan as being a well-known friend of his love for the massive ships. Me and my friend Ryan have grown up together, and a couple of times, his mother brought me along with their excursions. And one of the things I love about the cruise ships is that not only are they beautiful, but these days they are much more unique looking. You know, the food, the pools, the drinks, the many water slides, the luxury rooms, you all name it. The summer before last summer, me and my friend Ryan went onto a cruise ship that housed the whole Paradise Fair. There was a water park filled with children and families having the best times of their lives. The bars and restaurants were fancy and well designed. Mostly while Ryan was having his time having fun in the pools, I decided to look up and down at the beautiful sights that are basically the sky and the ocean. Looking down on the ocean as the ship carried through the waves was impressive for a massive man-made object to go through. And I go up looking at the sky, and during the day, there are clouds and the sun, and at the night, it's even more beautiful, since the many stars on the skies match perfectly with the beautiful atmosphere that I enjoyed it. The food that me and Ryan ate was also very delightful, as the steaks and many sides were also cooked very right and prepared well and very delicious. Our rooms were also nice too, as they had nice beds, paintings, chairs, tables, even a TV to watch the news or any shows. Once it was time to leave the ship, me and Ryan would pack up our things we bought and left the ship, as the ship was docked at the closest pier, as we both walked off to have a great time on a ship that scrolled through above the ocean. That summer was the last time me and Ryan enjoyed going to a cruise ship. Last summer, I was preparing for my vacation trip with my friend Ryan. Basically, for each summer, we would take turns choosing what cruise ship we can buy tickets from go to said ship. This time, it was my turn to choose the cruise ship we would be going to. I went online and found a cruise ship that seemed to be pretty nice for our affording. The ship had a water park, a nice restaurant with some nice pools, and some good luxury as well. This ship to me was a great place to go to, so when I bought the tickets, which were about $100, I called my friend Ryan on the phone about the ship we were going to. He seemed to be excited as I was, and approved with my choice ad. The following day, we went to the dock to go on the ship. When we stepped into the ship and walked through the fancy crowded hallways, me and Ryan went to our own rooms that we will be staying at. My room was pretty well designed, a luxury room with a very well designed bed, a couch, a smaller sofa chair with a table standing in the middle of them, a table with a telephone and a lamp on it, and another table with another lamp on it. That's next to my bed. Many perfect painted paintings on the wall, and a window that showed the beautiful outside sunset. After setting up my stuff in my room as the ship went off and into the ocean, me and Ryan went up to the top deck. We were granted with the perfect paradise on the ship. It had a well-designed top deck with some large pools with families in them having fun. Along with the pool were chairs with other tourists where they're relaxing. It also had a bar there and a room which housed a hot tub there. As Ryan went to the bar to have a drink and chat with some of the people, I took my time looking at the beautiful skies and the oceans as the ship continued to drift, and I float above the waters of the ocean. I was satisfied with the paradise I was, as people around me were there having a fun time of their lives. As the afternoon went on, me and Ryan went to the restaurant that we would both eat in. The restaurant was fancy and all, and on the menu were steaks, burgers, and fries. Like any other restaurant. The following night, after spending a lot of fun at the top deck and going to our rooms, I decided to go to bed and turn on the TV to watch a movie I'd like. Sometimes, during a very late night, I was awoken by something. Sound was like a groaning. A low-pitched groaning. And the groaning sounded animalistic. Like a noise from a whale. I wasn't sure about the noise, but it sounded a bit too loud, and was coming from the water outside the ship. I got my phone and read 3:30 a.m., meaning I was awoke from this groaning sound. So I went outside to check the view, trying to find the source of the noise. The noise was a little louder, before it seemed to be coming out of underwater. When I looked at the direction of the water, I could have sworn I saw a faint movement in the water. It was probably too fast for me to even see it, but it probably looked like a tail? Maybe a whale? I don't know. I wasn't sure of the time, since it was very far from my vision, and the thought of a whale being close to the cruise ship is one thing, but I didn't really think of anything else during the time. I noticed that groaning sound starting to become more fainter, like it was retreating from me. I then looked at the other side and saw something. I didn't know what that thing was peeking from the water at the time. But whatever that thing was, is peeking, facing towards the ship. I thought it could have been like a large ocean sail rock, but whatever it is, it seemed to slowly dive down back into the water, as the groaning noise seemed to fade away. I was confused as hell, thinking what I saw, so I thought nothing of it. And I thought it was just my sleeping mind playing tricks on me. So I went back inside my room and back to bed to sleep. The next day is where the incident began. The next day, me and my friend Ryan went out of our rooms and were met by one of the crew members that worked with the captain of the ship. He said to me that the captain and the other crew members last night had been seeing sightings about something about the groan, and last night was real, while Ryan seemed to think the crew member made the whole thing up. Now, not only was I kept up for what I saw last night to myself, but the crew member also told me to not share this information with anyone else on the ship, which I agreed. The rest of the morning wasn't that special. First, we went to the restaurant to eat some breakfast. Then after that, we went to the top deck where Ryan stayed in the hot tub while I was drinking at the bar. Then we went to eat lunch, followed by Ryan foolishly risking his money on the casinos. Then on the following afternoon, me and Ryan went on a tour of the rest of the ship before dinner. And during that time, I ordered the same meal, which were a steak with fries on its side, while Ryan ordered the different meal, which was a lobster. During that night, me and Ryan spent our time at the bar, getting drunk and cracking jokes, and how things were going at our time, while also partying hard on the top deck. And after that, we both drunkenly went back to the hallways and into our rooms to sleep in. Now, this is when our fun night turns into a straight up nightmare. The horror that would come into this night happened when I was asleep. And I was awoken to that noise again. That groaning noise. This time, instead of sleeping, I decided to go outside to see what that noise was. Boy, it was worse this time. I saw that same thing from last night, peeking out of the water. This time, the groaning noise was getting louder. And not only that, but that thing in the water was also getting closer and closer and closer. As I watched in horror, the chill going down my spine as the noises got louder and louder. And just as it got close, it sunk back to the ocean. But I could still hear that groaning noise getting louder, meaning that it was getting closer to the cruise ship. This was when I heard Ryan knocking on my door to what was happening. Frightened, I went back inside and opened the door for Ryan, but just as he could tell me what that noise was, or I had to tell him that we needed to get out of here, and just as the captain was going to speak on the speaker about an emergency, we heard another sound that literally almost had me having a heart attack. It was the sound of something colliding with the ship. And the sound was so loud that not only made the ship shake with furniture sliding on the wall and paintings hitting the ground, me and Ryan fell to the ground. But I got back up and got Ryan back up. And we ran out to the hallway. And we see shit going all out hell on the top deck. The ship was shaking and the passengers and families were screaming throughout the chaos. And as we were all being shook around the ship, the captain on the speaker then spoke.
Attention all passengers. Something fast has collided with our ship. The ship is going to sink. We are going to call an emergency. Quick!
It was all going to hell. As to make sure me and Ryan don't fall out of a boat, we grappled onto the bars of the door, hoping we don't fall. Among the chaos of the passengers screaming and me and Ryan watching in horror, I could hear that groan more clearly now. The noise sounded more like a whale call, but it sounded enraged and angry. It made me feel very uncomfortable and unsettling to hear this disturbing sound that cut through the screaming of the poor families and passengers. Eventually, of what seemed like 30 minutes of the chaos, me and Ryan looked at each other just as one of the crew members came to us and told us to put on our life vests just in case we fell into the water. As me and Ryan put on the life vests, another unexpected crash sound happened, and this time it made the cruise fall on its side. Me and Ryan fell into the water. Thank God we had our life vests on. As me and Ryan hit the water and floated back up, we both saw the passengers hit the water. And it was freaking horror to watch, like Jesus Christ. I mean, the crash also made many seats fall off the boat as well. Some of the passengers were lucky swimmers and tried to help out others, and I bet the others were unlucky, either drowned or got killed by fatal injuries too. While me and Ryan watched the carnage, I heard something behind us rise out of the water. My instincts told me to turn around, and as I did, followed by Ryan, what we both saw terrified the shit out of us. It was a whale. It was a big whale! Looking at us by its side, I can't tell if it could be because of light from the moon of the sky, but the whale had a dark gray color. It had scars all over its body, and along with the many barnacles on its face, the whale seemed to be a regular right whale with just battle scars on his body. That is, except when we saw its eyes! The whale's eyes! Eyes! Apart from the scars, the whale's eyes also betrayed the rest of the whale's harmless look and appearance. The whale's eyes were bloodshot red, pulsing red. Its eyes were filled with anger, jealousy, and rage. It felt like an eternity to me and Ryan looking at this whale in the eye. Like if this enraged Leviathan wanted nothing more but to see us both dead. Then the whale slowly backed away to face us. The way how the whale moved was horrifying, as despite its large size, it moved surprisingly fast. Then the whale opened its mouth, revealing a maw that looked like an endless abyss, followed by that awful groan. As the whale opened its mouth and was getting closer to us, I literally thought me and Ryan were going to die by getting eaten up by this thing. Then I saw harpoons getting thrown into the whale's face. I turned to see who shot the harpoons, and they were from a rescue boat. Many rescue boats even.
I'm coming for him next.
Turns out our emergency came to our rescue, but when I looked back at the whale, who now has harpoons in his face, it didn't look like that whale flinched or felt pain. Instead, the whale fastly closed its mouth, turned to face the boat, shot harpoons at him, opened its mouth again while charging at the boat to crush the entire boat with its mouth, possibly killing the people on the boat. The whale didn't have sharp teeth. It had baleen teeth, like from a regular filter feeding whale. But this whale's mouth worked like a crushing machine and tore the ship in half. And I swore it may have just also swallowed the people inside of the boat, as well as the enraged whale went after all the other boats to kill the people on them. Then I saw a light flash on both me and Ryan, along with the ladder being dropped onto us. And it was a helicopter. So, together, while the whale was distracted doing its carnage on the sinking ship and eating people in its way, me and Ryan climbed the ladder and got into the helicopter, where we were finally rescued. As the helicopter flew off, and Ryan and I looked down at the carnage, we saw the whale jump and crash into the cruise ship again, leaving a hole in it, as I could still hear the whale's angry groans. Despite the whale's fat-looking appearance and having many harpoons on it, possibly as failed attempts from rescue boats to fight the whale off, it crashed through the entire cruise ship like a bullet going through human flesh. As the whale looked up at the helicopter me and Ryan were in, with a very mean and menacing look, without even flinching from the harpoons pierced in its skin, the whale turned around and swam back to the deep, never to be seen again. Me and Ryan were both terrified, speechless, and in chills, as even after the helicopter got us to safety and brought us to a local hospital that night, me and Ryan still had questions that were in our heads. Why did that whale attack the ship? And how did that whale not feel any pain when the harpoons were shot at? And why was that whale so mad and wanted to kill and swallow everything in its way? Me and Ryan had so many questions that I doubt neither of both of us had slept that night. It's been 4 months now since that horrific summer night. I also found out on the news that everyone, and not even the captain, were rescued because of something came and then they were all gone. I bet that damn whale obviously had everything to do with that, cause it came to intervene with the rescuers and destroyed all of them before consuming all the passengers, and probably even the crew members of the captain himself. And me and Ryan were the only ones who got out alive. I told Ryan we should both keep what we experienced to ourselves, because who the hell would believe us that a whale attacked us? And the whale didn't look like any other whale, and it looked so horrible looking. Me and Ryan used to love going on to cruise ships, but now we are not going to a cruise ship ever again. For now on, me and Ryan will go to places that don't involve going too far into the ocean. I doubt we will go to any cruise ship ever again. And I hope we both move on from that traumatic experience. Hopefully so. To stop seeing those awful, red, bloodshot, pulsating eyes. And that awful, unbearable, and terrifying whale groan in our dreams.